What's up, it's Anna, and welcome back to my channel. This is my first Halloween video of this year, and I'm super excited. To start out, I'm just going in with my Urban Decay foundation and a beauty blender and just applying this to half of my face, the half that is beautified. And then, of course, I'm setting this with my favorite powder by Arbonne, just lightly dusting this all over with a big fluffy brush before going in and filling in just one of my eyebrows with my e.l.f. eyebrow kit. I'm just lightly using the angled brush that comes along with it to put the product through my brows, mimicking brow hairs and just filling in my natural shape. After priming my eyes, I'm moving into my Chocolate Bar palette by Too Faced and taking the shade Salted Caramel, which has a more orange tone to it, and I'm applying this right into my crease as a transition shade. This eye look is going to be very orange toned, so we really want to use this as our transition shade. Then moving in with two more warm toned browns called Semi-Sweet and Milk Chocolate. I'm applying those into the outer corner of my eye before going in with a black shade from my Ultimate Naked Basics palette and just smudging this into the outer corner as well and my crease to really deepen and darken everything up. To ensure that it's all blended out perfectly, I went in with the eyeshadow brushes that I used before just to make sure it is before going in with a single eyeshadow from Sephora. I believe it's called Tangerine. It's this beautiful shimmery orange shadow that I'm just applying to the inner half of my eye using my ring finger to get the best pigmentation. Then to highlight my inner corner, I'm taking Marzipan on a pencil brush and just lightly applying this into my inner corner before going into my NYX Dream Catcher palette and taking the stark white shade and applying that right under my brow bone to really highlight that area and bring it out before going in with my Maybelline Eye Studio Gel Eyeliner in Blackest Black and using the felt tip from my Kat Von D liner that is sadly dried out. I'm using this as a brush in order to apply it and get the sharpest wing. And then to complete the face makeup, I'm going in with my NYX contour kit and adding the two middle contour shades and just lightly applying this into the hollows of my cheeks to hollow that area out and define it before going in with a mauve pink and a slightly tangerine shaded blush and applying this to the apples of my cheeks and brushing it backwards before applying this gorgeous golden highlight to the tops of my cheekbones in order to highlight, and then I can move right on into this pumpkin half. Now, it's entirely up to you what you want the shape of this pumpkin half to be. I just kind of started up from my temple right above where my eyebrow begins and then brought it down over my nose and then around by where the contour line ends. You can make it smaller than my section, larger than my section. You could do the entire face if you really wanted to, but for the sake of this look, that's how much I wanted to turn into pumpkin. I'm also lining out where I want the eye socket to be and the nose. The teeth I knew I was going to change as I went, so I didn't line those for now. And then I went right in with an orange shade from my CoverGirl eyeshadow palette. It's super old, so I don't even know what it's called. If you have an orange body paint, you could definitely use that instead. But for all of you people who are creating this look with just eyeshadows, if you have an orange eyeshadow, I highly recommend using a large, dense brush to really pack the shadow on and get the best color payoff. Now, the rest of this look can get pretty tedious, so you're going to want to take a small angled brush and any black eyeshadow of your choice. I'm just using this one called Lethal, I believe, out of my Urban Decay Ultimate Naked Basics palette, and with light little strokes I'm lining along the brown line that we put down to show the differentiation between the pumpkin half and the normal glam half. This is going to be something you probably will return to a few times throughout creating the look, just to add more shadow and clean up the line. This will also help in making it really look under the skin, which is what we're going for here. So take your time with this, try not to rush. You really want to make it clean so you have the least amount of touch-ups to do later. I'm also using the same technique on my cheekbone where I want to hollow that out because I do want to kind of follow a little bit of a skull with this rather than just making it a straight up jack-o'-lantern on one side of my face. So I'm using that same technique of adding a light line and then fading the black down from there, keeping the black darkest towards the top of the line to make it look deepest and most hollow there, and then have it just fade out into the orange at the bottom just to get the right look. For the eye socket, I'm going in with my NYX Jumbo Black Bean pencil and just lining out that area, Following the outline that we did with the brown pencil from earlier, I'm being really careful when it comes to the inner corner of my eye and just that line in general, because it is a little harder to make sure that it stays a clean, straight line. So basically the rule to go with on this entire half of the face is take your time, make sure you pay attention to detail, because that is what will make this look best in the end. And then once you are done lining, you can go straight on in and fill in that area using the same product. If you wanted, you could use body paints instead for this part. But again, I don't have any, so this is what I'm using. Also, because it is a cream product, you're going to want to set it with a lot of black eyeshadow, so I'm using Blackout from my Naked 2 palette and really making sure to apply a lot of this onto that area, especially the eyelid and the crease area, right up to my brow bone really, because that is an area of movement and you want to make sure that it doesn't crease or fade as you wear the look. Moving straight onto the nose after that, I'm using a very small lip brush actually, and the same Black Bean product that I just swiped onto the brush, and I'm using this to go over those lines that we put down with the black pencil from before, and just to further define them and really set that final design before going in and filling in that area, and once again, of course, setting it with some black eyeshadow. To add more character to the eyes, I went in with that same little angled brush that we've been using throughout this look and more black eyeshadow, and just added some little wispy details to the top and bottom of the eye socket just to kind of add a bit more expression and again character to the look. So I added 2 triangular points that faded out at the top onto the very top line of the eye socket, and then I added 2 onto the bottom, one that extended right from the tail end of the triangle and one that came down from the inner corner. For the mouth, I am once more using that little lip detail brush and the same NYX Jumbo Black Bean eye pencil that I just brushed onto the brush to create the mouth. I really wanted to do something more jagged, so it still looked like teeth, but it was creepy. So this is kind of what I came up with. I used differing triangles to make this some were wider, some were shorter, some were more pointy than others, just to make it so it wasn't as perfect in nature, because I really wanted it to look a little bit different and gnarly per se. So I just did a line all the way across my upper lip that went right to both sides of where the skull began and ended, and did the same onto the lower half. I started these on the lower part of my lip and brought them just under so the points would be reaching where my chin began, and just again brought those all the way over to where the cheekbone is and all the way over to where the half of the pumpkin face meets the glam face. Here is where you're going to really want to go back and touch up how dark those areas are to make sure that it fades and looks cohesive, because the Black Bean pencil is a lot darker than the black eyeshadow is originally, so you really have to make sure you build it up. I'm filling this in with the same brush, just applying that right into the areas, making sure to be careful around the points, and then going right in with the eyeshadow on the small angled brush again to set it. I'm also adding some wispiness to the tops of the points with the angled brush, just so they trailed off a little more and looked a little more like the withering in the pumpkin, so it wouldn't be as straight. To also add more character and dimension to the pumpkin, I'm lightly adding some little lines into all of the open areas where there aren't any hollowed out places, to again add that texture into the pumpkin and just to make it more dimensional. You can add as many or as little lines as you want to. This entire side of the makeup is really up to how you want your pumpkin skull to look. You have by no means an obligation to follow what I'm doing. To add more dimension, I'm going in with a bronzer and a straight up orange highlighter and applying this to the high points of my pumpkin face, so my cheekbone, the top of my forehead, and my chin as well, just to bring those parts out a little more before going in with a taupe brown shade from my Ultimate Naked Basics palette. And with a larger angled brush, I'm applying this a little bit away on the opposite side of that black line and fading it out in the opposite direction as well, going down that entire line. And this is going to add a ridged effect to our skin to make it look like it's being pulled back and like it's receding over the top of the pumpkin skull as well. So this is again just adding more realism and dimension to the look. And one of the last added effects, probably one of my favorite, are these stitches! I absolutely love doing stitches, so of course I had to make an excuse to put them into this look. I just added 4 little ones, one at the top of the forehead, 2 little crisscrossing ones on the bridge of my nose, and then 2 more towards the bottom of my face. I just used my depotted NYX Jumbo eye pencil in Milk and just drew these on with a cleaned lip detail brush, really making sure to add a few layers to make sure that they're really stark white before going in with a gray eyeshadow on a flat dense brush, applying it to the underside of the stitches to make them look more dimensional, and applying a little black dot onto either side to add the stitching of where they are sewn in. And that completes the stitches. What's up, Sana, and welcome back to my channel. I am so happy to be putting this video up for you guys. It is my first Halloween video of 2017. Trick or Treat with Dana is finally back, and I am so excited. If you didn't know, Halloween is one of my favorite times of the year. Every year so far I've done some sort of skeleton look, so I want to continue with that trend but do a little bit of a twist. So I came up with this pumpkin skull. I absolutely love it. I think it is amazing. I think my bright red hair goes so well with it. It's just If you guys like this video, make sure to give it a huge thumbs up. And of course, make sure to subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos. And that's it. I'll talk to y'all next time. Until then, stay spooky and peace out. Bye. Baby, come back.